The political actors have to take responsibility. There has been over 5 million dead people. We cannot treat the situation lightly. It's a very big deal. And there has to be responsibilities taken. It's not just one arrest and have one event, but the situation is going to remain the same. There has to be a political will to stop these atrocities, stop the rapes, stop the war, stop killing civilians. We need political choice.
Eve Ensler.
I also think if Kunda has been arrested, he needs to be extradited in the Congo and tried there so that people know there's justice. I think that the Congolese people must have control over the resources of their country, that so much of what's going on there has to do with the plundering and the taking of the mines, particularly for our cell phones and PlayStations with coltan. And
explain that for a second, what the resources are.
Well, many of the mines are coltan mines. And that coltan goes into making cell phones and PlayStations and computers. And actually, much of the war has been escalated through that mining. And we in the West benefit, as we know, greatly from cell phones. So all those mines are controlled by rebel groups and militias who then get that to the Western and to Russia and to China and to all kinds of countries. If those resources were controlled by the Congolese people and put back into their power, things would shift in a very big way. If we were holding accountable leaders of the FDLR, for example, who were in France and who were outside of the country, and they were held as war criminals so they couldn't control things.
FDLR standing for?
The Interahamwe, or the former genocidaires who came from Rwanda. If we were actually protecting women inside the country by putting more peacekeepers on the ground or by developing even a women's police force that could protect women inside the bush, I think it would be much better for women. There's no protection for women in the bush. When rebel soldiers go in, there's no cameras there. There are no eyes on those women. The rebel soldiers go in and they rape and they plunder. That's what soldiers do now. Why will they stop doing that? Why will 6,000 Rwandese troops do any differently than anyone did before? These are good soldiers. I mean, they're soldiers. That's what happens, particularly in a country where rape has essentially become a country sport. Not because all the men are rapists. A very small percentage of the men are rapists, but enough men are raping that they're actually impacting many, many women.
Eve Ensler and Dr. Denis Mukwege are our guests. Dr. Denis Mukwege founded the Panzi Hospital, one of the only hospitals in Congo, it's in the eastern Congo, that's dealing with this mass rape of women and girls. Eve Ensler, founder of V-Day, wrote the Vagina Monologues, is the leader of this international movement, this global movement against violence against women and girls. We'll be back in a minute.
Elenge kitoko yo salia mama moi mwatongo mwa ebale senga kaka otambola kama lembe pesa motema nazongisa motema mikolo mingi mileki na zangi yo kanisa esikotikinga na sima na vandanga na nani tosulaka
Amelia Bell singing Kelia here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report for our radio listeners. We are playing images during our break and during this broadcast of major protests that took place. Our guests are Eve Ensler, award-winning playwright, creator of the Vagina Monologues, and V-Day. They are launching today on Democracy Now! This 5-city Pain to Power tour to raise awareness about rape in the Congo. We're also joined by Dr. Denis Mukwege, who is the founder of the Panzi Hospital, to help thousands of girls and women who are the victims of rape in eastern Congo and this resource war with the invading forces being Uganda and Rwanda. Eve Ensler, the protest that took place in Congo.
Well, 2 years ago, with local groups on the ground and with wonderful women activists there and with the help of UNICEF, V-Day, we all came together and we created this campaign called Stop Raping, Our Greatest Resource, Power to the Women and the Girls of the DRC. And that campaign has proved to be quite powerful, and I really feel there is a revolution brewing with women on the ground. And in the last 2 years, we've seen major demonstrations in the street last November that occurred, this November, that occurred in Goma and Bunia and Bukavu, and we saw 8,000, 10,000 women in each city. And then this year, we did public testimonies where brave women came forward in Goma and Bukavu, and they shared the first time they broke the silence and shared the horrible stories of what had been done to them in front of hundreds of officials. It was extraordinary. And what was really extraordinary was to see how many men came and how moved men were, and how communities wept together and really heard the stories be told publicly, which really broke some essential denial and taboo. And now we're seeing activists educating all through the bush, talking about the issues, mobilizing. They're going to do a Breaking the Silence event in Kinshasa now. And I think in the next 2 to 5 years, if the campaign continues, which it will, with resources and support, we will see major change and major revolution happening because the women are fierce. And we're opening a place called the City of Joy, which will be a project of Panzi, which will be a facility, a center, which will really turn pain to power and support women who have been horribly tortured and abused to become the next leaders of the DRC.
Talk more about the City of Joy, Dr. Mukwege.
Lorsque nous prenons en charge les femmes à l'hôpital,
when we take care of women at the hospital,
ce sont des femmes qui sont non seulement
these women
des plaies physiques, mais elles
are
ont
wounded
aussi des traumatismes
physically, but are
profonds,
also traumatized profoundly.
Et vous savez, on ne peut pas comme ça
And it's not possible
une plaie,
just like that to cure them.
Ça prend du temps.
It takes time.
Et parfois,
sometimes a lot of time.
Comme on ne peut pas les chasser de l'hôpital,
we cannot kick them out of the hospital.
On avait besoin d'un endroit
so we needed a place
où les femmes peuvent rester
where women can stay,
pour être prises en charge
to be taken care of,
et pour en fait les entraîner
and
à une réinsertion sociale sur le plan économique,
reinsert socially,
mais aussi leur donner la capacité
and to give them the possibility and the ability to take care of themselves and to be able to fight in life, because they do have the capability of doing this. I have seen amazing transformations.